The Runner is a desktop device that I made in collaboration with Boy Harsher, who is a very well-known and respected darkwave group, but more importantly, they're old friends of mine that I went to college with, and they're phenomenal human beings, and I love them both very much. Gus and Jay, if you're watching, hello, hi. So I made the Runner in VCV rack partially to extend CV functionality over it, and also to get the word out that it still exists. I still have 11 units. I haven't talked to Gus and Jay in a minute about how many they have, but I believe they have less than 10. So I think there's only about 20 or so left in the wild that are new. But this was a limited edition thing we did. There were two versions. Version 2 has a MIDI input with a super in-depth MIDI CC implementation, and it also has an alternate firmware inside of it called Knuckle Buster, which is a noise synth that I made. Anyway, onto the VCV version. It's pretty much exactly the same as the pedal, and the only difference is that I added CV inputs for all of the parameters. So I guess I'll just show you some basic functionality of what it does. It drones, obviously. Let's kind of set it to its initial state. So when you first load it, it's a sawtooth core oscillator with a pitch knob here. If you flip from hertz to notes, it turns quantize on, so you can change the pitch in chromatic intervals. That's less important for the VCV rack version because it does track 1 volt per octave. You can just sequence it if you want to change it. So after the oscillator, it goes into a filter, which is a simple low-pass filter with resonance. Get nice and liquid. There is an oscillator mixer here called harmonics, and what it does is it blends from 1 oscillator to 2 oscillators. I have to turn this up so you can hear it. 2 oscillators detuned to 2 oscillators with the sub, to 2 oscillators detuned sub plus 1 octave, and then plus 2 octaves. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oscillators. The animate knob here controls the pulse width modulation of those oscillators. Oh, I said sawtooth before. I meant to say pulse. They're all pulse oscillators, not sawtooth. It controls the pulse width modulation, speed and depth of that. It also controls the filter cutoff, and it's this kind of chaotic, organic, wiggly LFO thing. It goes slow, it goes fast. And yeah, it's speed and depth, so as you turn it down, it's less intense. And then there's a built-in chorus that you can turn on and off with no controls over it. It's kind of inspired by like the Roland chorus on the Juno, where you just push a button and it's chorus. And then gain for distortion. So I tried as best as I could to get the sound the same as the Runner, but in all honesty, both the Runner version 1 and the Runner version 2 and this version actually sound very different. People don't actually know this yet. They think the Runner version 2 is like a new and improved, better version. And, you know, it's my job as a guy who owns a synth company to tell you that it is, because I put in all this work to make it better, and I added all these extra features, and I had this extra firmware. But to be honest with you, in my opinion, the first version of the Runner, I did a different gain stage for the distortion circuit, and it's a much, much more aggressive and a much beefier sound. So although the second one has these extra features and people who bought the first one might have felt, you know, ripped off, I don't think they realized that they actually, in a weird way, have the cooler version of the Runner. And maybe they can fight about that on the internet in a few years. But I'm the guy who made it. That's my opinion. I think the first Runner in black sounds the best, although the features in version 2 are super cool. If you like this and you like what you see and you're messing around with the VCV version and you're like, hey, this is pretty cool, I want a hardware version, I still have these on my website and they are for sale. And definitely take some time to look at the MIDI implementation. I made a free Max for Live device to control it, so the whole thing can be controlled by your DAW, entirely controlled by CCs. You can plug a keyboard into it and just immediately start going. And yeah, the Knuckle Buster mode is definitely worth checking out. It's like a super chaotic, insane, harsh noise synth that was so unique that I was actually unable to mimic the code in VCV Rack, and that is one of the only things that I make that, or made rather, that I will not be porting to VCV Rack. So it's definitely very special and very unique. Yeah, thanks for watching. That's it.